going on, guys, and welcome back to another Pokemon Wi-Fi battle. Today I have an NU match. This one is against Randy from Twitter. So I decided to test out a couple new Pokemon here. I have the specially defensive Xatu, and then I have an assault vested Kecleon, which are both monsters, and I figure they fit pretty well on this team. So looking over at Randy's side, he's working with some power. I'm honestly afraid of the Jinx. The Miltank could be scary. If the Pinsir's Choice Scarfed, it could be some problems, but honestly, my main plan is to kind of keep Primeape around for as long as possible. I know I'll be able to outspeed the Jinx, I can get a lot of damage on the Miltank, and you know, Primeape is just a really good mon to have around late game. It can really come in handy. So let's go ahead and get this started. I decided to lead off with my Primeape just to kind of scout out what he was going to lead off with. I expected probably the Torterra, so I was like, you know what, I'm going to be able to get a nice little U-turn, get some damage and stuff like that. But he ends up leading off with Krakatoa, which is actually the Magmortar. So I was like, you know what, I'm not going to mess around here. I'm just going to go for the U-turn and then be able to get a switch into something that's, you know, more fitting to take on this matchup. So the U-turn does a little bit of damage, and I'm like, alright, Floof, good job, bro. And Primeape is literally just a Floof ball with arms, which is pretty awesome. But yeah, so I go into Quagmire here. I figure the worst case scenario is he has Hidden Power Grass, which is what my Magmortar carries, but he actually ends up going for the Psychic there, so I'm really glad I didn't leave Primeape in, and Quagmire actually did not eat up that Psychic as well as I had hoped. But so now he's going to switch out. He wants to save his Magmortar for later, as I just go for an Earthquake trying to land on that thing, but he's going to bring out the Man-Sign, who's floating, and of course Earthquake does not do anything. But this really isn't the worst matchup for me, considering there's not really a whole lot Man-Sign can do to me. He's just going to go straight for a Scald. Unfortunately, he gets the burn, and I was like, damn it, Quagmire, that's not good. But at least I am able to land a Toxic on this thing. That was kind of my main plan for this Man-Sign. I really don't have a whole lot on my team that can really take this out other than like Primeape Stone Edge and stuff like that. So I was like, you know, it's honestly not too bad for me to be able to trade Quagsire for a poison on this thing. And plus, I don't think he has any way of getting rid of the poison, so I was like, you know what, this is fine. Man-Sign is an absolutely specially defensive beast, and I was like, you know what, that's completely fine. Here I realized I don't really want to switch into anything else, risking getting another Scald burn, so I was like, you know what, I'm just going to let Quagsire die. He's really slow, he had like no health left, he was burned, so honestly, he really wasn't looking all that useful. So kind of wasted a Quagsire there, which really is going to set me off in the match here. I don't have my main physical defense wall, so that's pretty unfortunate. So I decided to bring in Xatu on the Revenge switch, as I'm just going to go straight for a Psyshock, just trying to land physical damage off on that thing, as he's going to actually switch back into Krakatoa here. So he's actually going to take just the right amount of damage from this Psyshock, to the point where I can kill it with 2, so I was like, you know what? Xatu is a special defense wall. I can take this Thunderbolt relatively nicely and then be able to throw another Psyshock at it, and that is a dead Magmortar, which is a big threat, so I was really stoked to get that thing out of the way. Unfortunately, Xatu lost a lot of HP in the process, but at least I got rid of a threat, so I'm really not that worried. He was going to bring in his Jinx, and honestly I kind of thought he was going to go for the Lovely Kiss on the first turn, but he actually ends up just going straight for the Ice Beam. I kind of expected him to expect me to switch, so I stayed in. Did not work for me, and down goes both of my walls. So at this point I have no special defense wall other than Miss Appear here, who is assault vested, but other than that, not really a whole lot of special defense investment. So he's going to go for an Ice Beam here. Miss Appear takes it pretty nicely, and that allows me to go for a Power-Up Punch. So my plan here is to get a Power-Up Punch, raise my attack, and then I can either finish it off with a Sucker Punch or a Shadow Sneak. This Kecleon actually doesn't have knockoff, which is kind of terrible on my end. I have a couple different Kecleons, but this one just doesn't have knockoff, which is, you know, kind of unfortunate. But I'm now able to go for the priority Shadow Sneak, and down goes the Jinx. So that's pretty nice. That thing was a big threat too. Glad to get that out of the way. And yeah, so now he's gonna bring in his Pinsir. So here I decided to go for a pretty questionable play. I'm gonna switch into Ms. Maggie, as he actually ends up going straight for the knockoff. And I don't know why I didn't see the knockoff coming. I was honestly trying to figure out what type of Pinsir this was going to be. But honestly, since I lost Quagsire early on, I really just did not have a whole lot of switches into this thing. So knockoff's going to take out Miss Maggie. Unfortunately, this thing is now going to get its Moxie, and I was like, oh god, I'm getting destroyed by my own dick pinch. So here I decided to bring in Choice Specs Pyroar. I know I'm not going to be able to outspeed if this thing is Choice Scarfed, which a lot of Pinsers are Choice Scarfed, but seeing as he's locked into knockoff, he's probably not going to be able to get the kill on me, so I'm like, you know, I get a free overheat here. So he's obviously going to bring in his Man-Sign, his specially defensive Sponge, to be able to take all this fire, and that's not going to do a whole lot to him. Even with the Choice Specs, Man-Sign is just able to eat that shit up. Also, I apologize if my voice sounds different. I've been really congested lately, and my voice just, I don't know, I feel like I sound different. I'm always a little bit sick, man. It's super annoying. But okay, so he's gonna get his poison damage, and at this point I really need to save Pyroar. It's looking pretty damn useful, and I do not want to lose it to a Mantine. Obviously I lost my special attack. I have to switch here. I decide to make a risky play, and I go into Floof here, and this could have honestly decided the match right here. So he goes for the Scald, does not end up getting the burn, and I was like, oh my god, thank god. I was crossing my fingers. I was like, please don't burn. I know it's only a 30% chance, but honestly it seems like it happens all the time. But yeah, so here I'm obviously going to be able to outspeed, and I go for a Stone Edge, don't miss it, and I'm like, oh my god, the Pokemon gods are looking over me today. So that is going to be a dead Mantine. I connect with the Stone Edge, did not get burned, and Primeape is looking pretty prime out here. So now he's going to bring out his Miltank. He knows that I am probably Choice Scarfed, and he knows I can't switch into close combat. So brings him the Titty Milk, his titties are bouncing everywhere, and here I decide to switch into Misappear. And some actually very interesting plays happen here. This is why I love Kecleon. So judging by that body slam damage, I am able to take at least 2 of them. So that allows me to go for a Drain Punch here. I do unfortunately get paralyzed at 5 HP, and I'm like, oh Jesus. But thankfully, I don't get para-haxed, and that allows me to go for a nice little Drain Punch. So it's going to do enough damage to those titties to the point where I heal enough to be able to take at least 1 more body slam. And at this point, I'm like, please just don't get para-haxed, Kecleon. We have a chance here. So honestly, 1 more Drain Punch kills the Miltank, and I'm feeling pretty confident here. I feel like I can win this matchup. He's going to go for another Body Slam, and that is going to knock me down to 11 HP, and unfortunately, I get paralyzed. But here, I'm like, okay, he's definitely going to go for Body Slam again. It's looking like that's pretty much his only attacking move, and I'm like, okay, I go for the Shadow Sneak. I know it's not going to be able to affect the Miltank, but it is at least going to be able to turn me into the Ghost type. So now, his Body Slam is not going to be able to do anything to me, and that is amazing. So I'm still the Ghost type. He is going to be faster, so he has to Body Slam again if that's his only attacking move. He shows me that it is, and that is awesome, so that allows me to get another Drain Punch here. I now transform into the Fighting type, and I'm going to get a lot of health back. So this Miltank is having a hard time with his Chameleon. This thing is insanely awesome. I just love the fact that you can abuse protein like that. You can use this thing for like a spin blocker, be able to change the Ghost type, block spins, block normal moves like this. So he's going to be able to connect with another Body Slam because I am the Fighting type. But that allows me to finish this thing off with a Power-Up Punch. So I went for the Power-Up Punch there just so I can get a little bit of an attack raise for the next Pokemon to come out. I do have Sucker Punch or Shadow Sneak, so I'll be able to get a nice little priority attack on whatever he brings out. I was super stoked about winning that matchup. That was amazing. So now he brings in his Tree Turtle, and I am able to break through the paralysis again. I get pretty lucky there, and that allows me to connect with a Sucker Punch. So turn into the Dark type, get a nice little stab Sucker Punch at +1, does more than half to that thing, and I was like, hell yeah. Unfortunately, he is able to take me out with an Earthquake, but honestly, Kecleon did enough damage to the point where I am proud. That was like actually the first match I brought this thing to, so I was pretty stoked about it. But okay, so all he has left is his Torterra and his Pinsir. So I decided to bring out Floof here. I'm going to be able to outspeed and finish the thing off with a nice little U-turn, and that allows me to bring in Pyroar in against the Pinsir. And here's where things get interesting. I still don't know what item is on that Pinsir. If it turns out to be a Choice Scarf, I could potentially lose this match, but we are about to find out. So I have no choice but to bring in my second to last Pokemon, which is my Pyroar, and he has to go into his last Pokemon, which is the Pinsir. So here is where it comes right down to the wire. So he is able to outspeed me, he goes for the close combat, and that shows me that that is definitely a Choice Scarfed Pinsir. So down goes Pyroar, and at this point all I have left is my own Choice Scarfed Primeape. So it comes down to, I'm going to be able to outspeed, definitely because Pinsir is naturally slower than Primeape, and we're both Choice Scarfs. So I will be able to outspeed, but the only problem is my Primeape only has 1 move that would be able to kill this thing, and that is Stone Edge. So if I can connect on a Stone Edge, I win, and I do connect on the Stone Edge. Thank God. The Stone Edge gods were good to me today. I don't remember the last time I hit 2 in a row, honestly. But down goes the Pinsir, and that was an insanely good match. It came down to a lot of luck, but honestly, it was a 1-to-1 match. It could have gone either way. Had I missed that Stone Edge, I would have lost. But yeah, the luck gods were with me on this one. I thought that was a really good match. Hit that like button if you enjoyed. And thank you for the battle, Randy. I will be looking for some more matches on Twitter. Follow me at Haydunn Official. The link will be in the description. If you would like to get a battle with me, that's usually where I like to accept them. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. And I will see you guys later. Peace out.